Welcome back, class 10, to the online bio classes. After your unit test, this is the first class, and today we are going to start with the third chapter, that is absorption by roots, part 1. You know that plants need water and minerals which is absorbed from the soil by the roots of the plants, and then it is transported to the upper parts of the plant by different forces like transpiration force, and that is called ascent of sap. So today we have to start with what is sap. First term that you should understand, sap is the water and dissolved minerals. Like when the water is drawn from the soil, you know that soil is the reservoir of water. Soil contains plenty of water molecules trapped in it, and the soil water along with the minerals which are dissolved in it, like minerals of calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, all those minerals which are present along with the water molecules, together they are known as sap. So what is sap? Sap is the combination of water and minerals. Now next is need of water and minerals for the plants. Why do plants need water and minerals? You know that plants need water to carry out certain functions like photosynthesis. Without water, photosynthesis is not possible. Water is also needed for respiration. Water is needed to transport, that is to carry the dissolved food, that is glucose, from one part of the plant to the other. That is called translocation of food. Water is also needed for various enzyme reactions to occur. Water is also needed for turgidity of cells of the plant, that is to give hardness to the plant cells, so that the cell wall of the plant cells can remain extended, and it also helps in the growth and germination of seeds, because seeds can penetrate, that is enter in the hard soil due to their turgidity. So these are the functions of water, and water makes 90% of the weight of a plant. So if you take the weight of a plant as 100 kg, it means 90 kg is the weight of the plant only, okay, of the water only. Remaining 10% is the weight of the other materials which constitute the plant body. And you know that soil is the reservoir of soil is the reservoir of water. Reservoir means the place where all the water is present. And this soil water is absorbed through the root hairs by the process of osmosis and diffusion, which we will study later in this chapter only. Osmosis, diffusion, active transport, turgidity, flaccidity, plasmolysis, deplasmolysis. So all these terms must be clear. You should know the exact definition of all these terms. Okay? Now soil water contains many inorganic salts like salts of nitrates, phosphates, sulfates, chlorides, carbonates. It also contains ions. Ions means the charged particles like that of sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, etc. So what are the essential mineral nutrients? Potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. These are called essential elements. Essential elements means those elements which cannot be made by the plants, and they are required in large quantity. Okay, so they have to take it from the soil along with the sap which they absorb from the soil. The trace mineral elements means those mineral elements which are needed by the plants in less quantity. Example of trace mineral elements like manganese, zinc, copper, molybdenum and boron. Now what is the role of water in the plants? What is the function of water? First function you can say, water makes 80% of the plant body, and it is essential for the normal working, that is functioning of a cell. Without water, the cell of the plant may not function properly. Number 2, water is needed to carry out different types of plant functions like photosynthesis, respiration, transpiration, translocation of food, etc. And third one, water is a universal solvent. Universal solvent means solvent is the substance which can dissolve or solute in it. So since many particles or substances can dissolve in water, that's why it is called universal solvent. So water can dissolve all the mineral elements in it. Water can also dissolve the food particles, that is glucose in it. Water can also dissolve the gases which are to be transported from one part of the plant to the other. In the water only it can get dissolved, so they are called the dissolved gases. So that's why it is called universal solvent, and it helps in the distribution of those materials throughout the plant body. Water is essential for the production, transport, and for the activity of enzymes in plants. Means in order to make the enzymes, water is needed. In order to transport those enzymes from one part of the plant, from the site of production to the site of action where it is needed, water is the medium through which those enzymes are transported. And it is also needed for their activity, means for the function of enzymes, so that enzymes can work properly. And the last one, water provides turgidity to the cells. Turgidity means hardness. So once the water remains inside a plant cell, the cell remains turgid or hard, and it helps in the germination of seeds, because seeds can grow the roots, and the roots can enter into the hard surface of the soil. Okay. Now next we have adaptations of the roots for water absorption. How the roots are adapted. Adapted means what makes the roots suitable for absorption of water. Or the question can be asked, how are roots modified for absorption of water? What makes them suitable for absorption of water? So what are the points? Number 1, adaptation in roots for water absorption. For water absorption means what changes are found in the roots which helps them to absorb water from the soil. So the first adaptation or point which is there is roots are positively geotrophic. Roots are positively, this word I am writing plus means positively geotrophic. Geo means earth, tropic means the movement of the plants towards the soil or towards the earth. Since the roots of the plant grow inside the soil, not above the soil, they are called positively geotrophic. And because they grow inside the soil, they come in contact with the soil water which is trapped in the soil particles, and that helps them to absorb water from the soil. Okay, so this is the first adaptation, that because the roots are growing below the soil, they are positively geotrophic, it helps them to absorb the water and minerals which are present in between the soil particles. Then number 2 is roots have a large surface area. The second one, large surface area. If the surface area of the roots is large, now what makes the surface area of the roots large? You know that a root has a main, plant has a main thick root that is called the primary root. This is a stem. This primary root has further branches which is called secondary roots, and the secondary roots has further branches which is called tertiary roots. The tertiary roots further contains all the root hairs are present everywhere in the primary, secondary, tertiary roots. So due to the extensive network, means vast network of root hairs and their branches which are present inside the soil, it increases the surface area, and once the surface area is increased means all the root hairs will come in contact with different types of soil particles containing the water inside it and the minerals. So those water and minerals will come in contact with the root hairs and they will be absorbed. So if surface area of the root hairs is increased, of course it is increased. How? Due to the vast network of root hairs. That is root, primary root, secondary root, tertiary root, and the root hairs increases the surface area of the root, which helps them to absorb more and more water from the soil. Understood now? There are 200 root hairs per square millimeter. So you can imagine 1 square millimeter is such a small space. If you see your scale, 1 millimeter. Within this 1 millimeter area only, 200 root hairs may be present. So such a large number of root hairs in such a small area increases the surface area for the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. Now you know what is the root hairs. Root hairs are the epidermal extensions. Means the epidermal cells of the root extends into fine hair-like structures which are known as root hairs. Then the next one you can see in the diagram also, each and every root hair, the tip is called, it is known as root tip. This one is called a root tip. Okay, TIP, tip means the uppermost part of the root. It is covered with a layer which is known as root cap. So what is root cap? Root cap is the outermost protective covering which is present around the root tip. It gives protection to the root tip. Okay. Now next one is, we have to study the diagram of root hair cell. So it's very simple to draw. You can draw the cortical cells like this. Now since this is the outermost layer, it is known as cell wall. I am drawing a root hair cell. Okay. Then second one, that is just inside the cell wall, we have the cell membrane. This one is the cell membrane. Now here I will draw the another root epidermal cell. Okay. Now you can see from here, I will draw the outgrowth, extension. This is called the root hair. Okay. From here I am drawing extension. Now see, what is this one? This is the outgrowth of root hair only. This epidermal cell, it grows into a long tube-like structure that is known as fully grown root hair. And what type of cell is this? This is known as epidermal cell. They are the epidermal. Epidermal means the cell which is present. Epidermis I am writing, or epidermal cells. The outermost layer of cells present in the root is known as epidermal cells. Okay. So this one I have drawn. Now this one, if some, what is this one? This is the water molecules and the soil particles I can draw like this. These are the soil particles. Okay, soil particles. And these are the water molecules. The smaller dot I have drawn, no, water molecules. Water molecules. This one the cytoplasm. Because it is a plant cell, so of course it will have the cytoplasm. The nucleus will be also there. So you can draw the nucleus also if you want. Okay. Now next we have to draw the third point. 2 points already we said. Adaptations in roots. Roots are positively geotropic. They have large surface area. The third point which you need to understand, root hairs have a cell sac whose concentration, root hair cells contain concentrated cell sac. Root hair cells contain concentrated cell sac. Now what is the meaning and how it helps in the process of absorption of water? You know, this is the root hair cell. Concentrated cell sac, it means there is plenty of solid, less of solvent. That is, water is less, but the solid molecules are more. Outside in the soil, this is the surrounding soil in which the root hair cell is present. Plenty of water molecules are present, less of solid molecules is there. So this is called concentration gradient. Means differences in the amount of water and solute in the root hair cells and the surrounding soil water. So we find that there is less water inside the root hair cell, more inside the soil. So due to this difference in the concentration of cell sac, the water molecules will diffuse or enter into the root hair cells by the process of diffusion. Got it? So what is the meaning of root hair cells contain concentrated cell sac? The concentration of cell sac of the root hairs is more as compared to that of the surrounding soil water. Got it? Understood or not? Here more water in the surrounding, less of solid, that is the mineral salts and all. But here inside the root hair cells there is more of solids, less of water molecules. So water molecules will move from the area of higher concentration to that of lower concentration by passing through the semi-permeable membrane. That process is known as osmosis, which we will study later. Okay. So third adaptation in the roots for absorption of water is root hair cells contain concentrated cell sap. And the last point is root hair cells have thin cell wall. Thin cell wall, because it is a plant cell. So of course a cell wall is also there. The outermost layer of cell is called cell wall, and it is very thin, and it is permeable also. Permeable means it will allow the water molecules to pass through it. So thin wall of the plant cell permit the water molecules to pass or enter from the soil into the root hair cells. So this is also one of the reason or the adaptation in the roots for the absorption of water. So what are the four adaptation? Number one, roots are positively geotrophic, that is they grow below the soil and they are in contact with the soil water, which helps them to absorb water and minerals from the soil. They provide a large surface area. Why? Because of the branches of the roots, as well as due to the presence of large number of root hairs. Just now I said that 1 millimeter of area contains 200 root hairs. So that increases the surface area of the roots, which helps them to absorb more and more water and minerals from the soil. The third point I said, root hair cells contain concentrated cell sap. It means inside the root hair cells, the cell sap, that is water and minerals, it is more. Okay, the concentration is more means water is less and that minerals or the solids are more. But outside in the soil, there is more water molecules and less of the solid. So that's why water molecules will move. These are the water molecules. If I draw a smaller one, these water molecules will move from the soil into the root hair cells by the process of diffusion. Okay, and diffusion and osmosis. All right. Then last point I said that root hair cells have a thin cell wall. Because the wall is thin, so water molecules can easily pass from the soil inside the root hair cells. Okay. Now next we have factors affecting absorption of water. Next we have to study factors affecting absorption of water. Okay, the next topic is factors affecting absorption of water. Means we know that water is absorbed along with the minerals from the soil. But what can affect, which factors can affect the process of absorption of water and minerals from the soil? There are three factors I have mentioned. Number one, soil temperature. Means the optimum means suitable temperature for the absorption of water is in between 20 to 30 degrees C. This is best for the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. If there is increase or decrease in temperature of the soil due to weather conditions, like if you are in a very cold place where already the soil is covered with ice and snow, the temperature may be below 20 and 30. And if you are in a very hot place like desert conditions where the temperature is more than 30, 40, 50 degrees of the soil, the temperature may be so high that increase or decrease in the temperature of 20 to 30 degree range, that is optimum temperature, will affect the absorption of water from the soil. Understood? So suitable temperature is 20 to 30 degrees. Either more or less than this temperature can affect the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. Number two, we have concentration of soil solution. You know that the root hair cells, just now I said, inside the root hair cell, the concentration of cell sap is higher than the surrounding soil water. Now, if this concentration is higher, it means there is more of solid, less of water molecules. This will help to absorb water from the soil, because soil contains soil particles which are surrounded by water molecules. Okay. Now, what is plasmolysis? If the concentration of soil solution is higher, you think like this, like here is, just now I had drawn or root here, and here concentration of soil solution is higher. Okay, means there is more of solid. These are the solid particles I am drawing. Suppose these are the solid particles. Okay, more of solid, highly concentrated, less of water molecules. These are the water molecules. Here there is less water and more of, means this one is highly concentrated, the surrounding soil. This one is lower concentrated, less concentrated. It means it has plenty of water. Now water molecules will move from the root hair cell into the surrounding soil. That will cause, like when water molecules leave the cell, this process is known as plasmolysis. Okay, actual definition of plasmolysis is shrinkage of protoplasm. Like this is the cell wall, this is the cell membrane. Okay, so when the entire contents of this cell inside the cell wall is called protoplasm. So when the protoplasm will shrink means come towards the center. Like in this condition you can see the entire protoplasm is here towards the center. Why? When the cell was placed in a hypertonic solution, we will study about those solutions also. So when kept in a hypertonic solution, the entire cell content will shrink towards the center. That is called plasmolysis. And if the plant cell will suffer from plasmolysis, it can result in the death of the plant. Okay, cell. So that plant cell can die also. This condition is called flaccid. Just opposite of turgid. So flaccidity, turgidity, plasmolysis, deplasmolysis, all these terms should be clear. Then third one is aeration of soil. You know that the farmers plow the soil or they till the soil with the help of tractors, machines, even manually. Why? So that air can go inside the soil. So that the soil becomes aerated. Because if the soil is aerated, it helps to absorb more and more water in it. So if you till the soil and then you give water to the soil, the water absorption capacity will increase. But if you leave the land like this only, and then you try to put water into that, water holding capacity will decrease. So well aerated soil helps to increase the rate of absorption of water. Got it? So these are the 3 points. Soil temperature, 20 to 30 degree optimum temperature for the absorption of water. If temperature increases or decreases, it can affect the rate of absorption of water. Then the second point is concentration of soil solution. If the soil solution, that is the soil particles, is highly concentrated, it can result in loss of water from the root hair cells that will cause plasmolysis and death of the plant cell. And third one is aeration of soil. Well aerated soil helps to increase the absorption of water and minerals. Okay, now next some section exercises are given in the book. You can practice it as homework. You can try, those who have already got the book. Then like one question I will discuss. Number 1, what adaptations do the roots have for absorption of water? The adaptations that the roots have for absorption of water are, just now we did in the previous topic, roots are positively geotrophic, that should be your answer. Number 2, roots have large surface area. They contain a cell sap whose concentration is more than the soil. And the last one is they have a thin cell wall. Okay, like this some more questions are there, you can try. Now next topic we'll do, that is absorption of water and mineral. The absorption of water and minerals from the soil, it occurs by the root hairs through the process of diffusion, osmosis. 5 process names are mentioned in your book. Diffusion, osmosis, active transport, turgidity, flaccidity, and individuation. So you should try to learn the definition of each one of them. Okay. So first one we'll do diffusion. Okay. Wait. Okay. Now next we have to do is diffusion. What is diffusion? Definition first I will say. The movement of molecules. Now what type of molecules? Molecules of particularly liquid and gas. Liquid and gas molecules can move from the area of higher concentration to the area of lower concentration. That is called diffusion. So if you have to define what is diffusion or define Diffusion, the movement of molecules of a substance from the area of higher concentration to that of lower concentration is called diffusion. Now diffusion occurs very fast in gases as compared to liquids. For example, when you take 1 spoon of sugar in a glass of water and put it in inside that 1 spoon of sugar inside the glass of water, you will find that the sugar molecules will dissolve in water, and the molecules of sugar will move randomly here and there. That is called Brownian movement, and that will help to completely dissolve the sugar molecules, and after some time you will find that no sugar crystals are seen, because now the sugar solution is ready. Okay, so next one is, in plants diffusion occurs when the root hairs come in contact with the soil water. There is experiment also that can be done. You have to take potassium permanganate crystals. Take a beaker containing water, put some potassium permanganate crystals, potassium permanganate, KMnO4, that is called potassium permanganate crystals. If you dissolve or keep it in a beaker containing water, after some time you will find that the color of water will change. Why? Because the molecules of potassium permanganate will diffuse everywhere in the surrounding water, and the entire potassium permanganate crystals will completely dissolve in that water. So by the process of diffusion. So this is one example or experiment to show the process of diffusion. Okay, and the color will change to purple color. After some time you will find that purple color of water will be there. It came due to the dissolving of potassium permanganate crystals in that water. Okay. Now what is the importance of diffusion? Why diffusion is important to us or to the plants? Number one, diffusion is important because it helps in the exchange of gases during respiration. You know that during respiration, food is burnt, that is oxidized in the presence of oxygen to liberate or produce energy. So for that, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide is needed. In plant cell also, plants also need energy, so they also carry out respiration, and for that they need to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. So plants will exchange those gases by the process of diffusion only. Okay, like carbon dioxide, which is present in the atmosphere, it diffuses or enters inside the plants through the stomata of the leaves. Similarly, oxygen, which is produced during photosynthesis, it diffuses outside into the atmosphere by the process of diffusion only. Okay. Now, second one is the loss of water in the form of water vapor. Like during transpiration, what happens? Loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant, that is from the leaves, stems, where stomata is present, is called transpiration. So it also occurs by the process of diffusion. And the third one is, diffusion helps to spread the molecules and the ions throughout the protoplasm. Okay. So next we have to do is osmosis. What is osmosis? Osmosis is the movement of solvent molecules. What is that? Movement of solvent molecules. Solvent means liquid, like water molecules, because water is the universal solvent. So movement of solvent molecules from the region of higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay. So what is osmosis? Osmosis is the movement of solvent, means water is the universal solvent. So we can also say the movement of water molecules from the area of higher concentration to the area of lower concentration by passing through a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. Okay, and what is semi-permeable membrane? You need to know this one also. Membrane, you know, membrane means covering. Like plant cell has a cell membrane. Cell membrane is semi-permeable in nature. It is also called differentially permeable. So membrane can be of three types. Number one, impermeable, like those which will not allow any substance to pass through it. They are called impermeable membrane. The one which will allow only selected particles to pass through it, like the cell membrane. Cell membrane is selectively permeable. It will allow the water molecules to pass, not the solid molecules. And third one is freely permeable, which will allow all the molecules to pass through it. Okay? Now I will give you one example of osmosis. So is the process of osmosis. Suppose this is side A, this one is B. Okay? This is a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, I have drawn a line SPM. SPM means semi-permeable membrane. It has tiny pores in it. Okay, understood now? Okay, it has tiny pores in it. Now this side I am drawing the solid molecule. See, this one, the small circles I am drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Solid molecules. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now I am drawing the solvent molecules. If you take this one as solvent molecules, okay, you can take this one as solvent or water molecules. Water molecules. And now let me draw the solid molecules. Water means solvent. You will not get confused. Here this one is same. Water molecules. Now I will draw some solid molecules. See, big in size. What are they? They are the solid molecules like sugar crystals or calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, anything. So you can see their size is quite bigger as compared to the water molecules. Now here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 solvent molecules, suppose. I have counted it. We cannot count it. So many molecules are there. So water molecules will move from the area of higher concentration to lower concentration. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here only 9 are there and here 12 are there. Means the concentration of water is more inside A than B. So this water or the solvent molecules will move from the area of higher concentration to the area of lower concentration by passing through this membrane. This process is called osmosis. Got it? Understood? So next we have, how long this process will continue? Till the equilibrium is not maintained. Equilibrium means suppose here it is 12, here it is 9. So when both sides will have equal number, like this side 10, that side 10, then equilibrium will be there. Then the process of this osmosis will stop. Okay. Now you have to learn the differences between diffusion and osmosis. You can write it in your copy. The tabular differences. And after watching this video, you write your name in the comment section so that we can come to know how many of you have seen. Next we'll continue with the types of solutions and some more topics are there. Yeah, one more class and we can complete this chapter. Okay. So continue with this and your homework will be to write the differences between diffusion and osmosis. I will just say there are 4 points. Diffusion can occur in all the three mediums, solid, liquid and gas. Osmosis occurs only in the solvent or the liquids. Number 2, diffusion is a very fast process. It occurs very fast. And osmosis is a slow process. Third one, diffusion does not require any type of membrane. Semi-permeable membrane is not required. But osmosis needs a membrane. And fourth one, the molecules in diffusion always move from higher to lower concentration. There is no membrane required. In diffusion also, molecules move from the area of higher concentration to the area of lower concentration. So today up to here, next we will study about the types of solution in the next class. Okay, thank you.